So a few months ago, I decided that, in November, December, I would stop working. My place of work, I love my work. It was a wonderful job, but it was located far, kind of far from the house, not far so much in miles, but far in elevation and windy mountain roads. And going up there in the winter, this would have been my third winter, was just not sustainable for me. I get really nervous about snow and about ice and all that sort of stuff. So I gave them plenty of notice, 4 or 5 months notice, and I was able to finish up at the end of November. I'm still going back from time to time to fill in, but I'm really easing out. I also did the math before I did this, so I would be financially okay, and it looks like I probably won't ever have to return to work again, but we'll see. I can still go back. I can still go back there or go back someplace else. I'm not worried about it, but I am enjoying my time off. And one of the things I always wanted to do my whole life, because I am a cook, I like to eat, I like to cook, is to volunteer in some sort of food related capacity. I thought I'd love to work in a soup kitchen, creating meals, but this opportunity came up at our local food bank, and the food bank is actually located in another county. It serves 3 or 4 counties around it, and we are one of them. So I've done three sessions already, and basically what it is we, people come to prearranged sites, and we fill their trunks of their cars with the donated food. So let me tell you how that works. Because this is a very poverty-stricken area, we have a lot of food bank visits here all over the county in different parts and multiple times a week. And they are always very crowded. So it's kind of a blessed thing to do. To become eligible for the food bank, you just have to say you need food. So if you are a senior, you get a senior box with some basics for the month, once a month. And if you're not a senior or a family or a single person or whatever, you get a different sort of box also for the month. And these boxes are stamped USDA. In addition to the boxes, they have drive-through sites. So I don't know how often you can go to that. Probably, I guess, as often as you want or need. And so these drive-through sites are the ones that are located in the different cities. And they entail getting dried food stuff. They have a diaper bank for children. You can get diapers for your children. They usually have dairy products, bread, produce, some dry goods, shelf-stable goods, that sort of thing. And every week it's a little bit different. I was at the food bank today helping out, and they had eggs, they had cheese, they had a ton of bread products, of course. They had some fish sticks, I think. They had actually a really good selection of produce this time. They had green beans, potatoes, kiwi, eggplant, peppers, onions, and I think 1 or 2 other things. It was a nice selection of produce. So what happens is you go in line, you have a bracelet which has your sign-up number on it, and they scan that, and as soon as they scan it, then you get a tag, and the tag shows that you're eligible to go through the line. So the tables are set up in 2 rows, and the line goes in 2 rows. So there's a one here and one here, and they have the same foods. It just speeds up things to have two rows going at a time. And the volunteers are stationed every couple of stations, I guess you can say, and we basically load the cars. They let us know ahead of time how much of each item to put in the car. So, for example, you have 1 ticket, you get 1 bag of potatoes, maybe 1 bag of peppers, 1 thing of eggs, that sort of thing. Sometimes when there is a lot, I was there one time when they had so many bread products. They were giving everyone 4 bread products, like, 4 loaves of bread or hamburger buns or whatever they had, because there was so much of that particular product. So the lines are broken up into sections, and each section has a small stop sign. So pull up to the first stop sign and your car's loaded with the items that are in that section based on how many tags you have or how many people you're bringing food to. You stop, you get it loaded up, your trunk is up. Your trunk is up from the time you're parked in line or your side door, whatever works. And you go, you stop, the food from that station is put in the trunk or the side of the car, and then you are free to move to the next station, the next stop sign, as soon as that's freed up and as soon as you're given the go-ahead, because they don't want cars moving out of their own volition, and there's volunteers running in between the cars to put stuff in the trunks. So the part about stopping at the stop sign at a full stop and not moving forward until given the go-ahead is very important for safety. In addition to whatever's been donated in mass amounts, sometimes there's other things that come in. Today, for example, Costco, they stopped at Costco on the way, and Costco had a ton of bananas for some reason and a couple other things, and so that was another line, and people would pull up and they'd ask, do you want a donation? They have these things from Costco, do you want some? So the deal with the stuff from Costco was awesome stuff, vegetables and fruit and some meat and all sorts of stuff. But the deal was that the stuff was, the bananas were starting to go. They were getting a little soft, they were getting a little brown. Some of the stuff is due to expire in the next day or two. So all of that is fine. I mean, they can't sell it in Costco, but the client can take it and use those bananas for banana bread or for whatever they want, baby food. They can put other stuff in the freezer or cook it that night, and it's totally fine. The food is fine. It's just not sellable at Costco anymore. So that happens sometimes. There's a lot of that sort of stuff comes in. It kind of depends from time to time, from food bank to food bank. As a volunteer, and I want to say a lot of the volunteers are already clients, which I thought was fantastic, because they're helping out and helping themselves and helping out. So every volunteer can get the full gamut of whatever's there for the clients as part of the perk, and you can also go ahead and go and get food for 2 more families. So 2 more people or 2 more families have to be registered also, and generally if you're picking up for more than yourself, you have your own bracelet with a tag on it and the other 2 people's bracelets, because they do scan and check. So before the drive-through starts, whoever is eligible can go through, they get their little bracelet scanned and can go through and pick up whatever is available that week for groceries for themselves, for whatever they're eligible for whatever their friend or family member is eligible for. So that's kind of a nice perk of being a volunteer too, is that you can just go through very quickly and not have to wait in line with the other cars. Once things start going, they try to keep it moving along, but safe. I think there's a lot of respect for the fact that people have to wait a long time. I mean, I get there at 8, that's when they want the volunteers to be there, and there's already cars in line. It starts at 9:30, and they have a real sophisticated, traffic movement so that there's no accidents and people are kind of first come, first serve. But people do have to wait, and it is a weekday, so it's a commitment, and I would say that the volunteers and the staff of the food bank are real cognizant of that and really make an effort to move people through quickly and efficiently and respectfully. I've enjoyed it because I just think, food, shelter, water, I mean, feeding people, that's a really baseline thing for survival. You see the full, spectrum of people, old people, young people, families, just better cars, worse cars. Some people seem to be living in their cars. I mean, you never know what people's circumstances are and what's happened in their lives, but it is like such an honor to be able to help out in this, at least in this area. At the end, whatever's left over, they generally let the volunteers go through again, because it is not worthwhile to drag small amounts of things back to the food bank, especially produce, because the produce has already been dumped into a huge container to be given out, and then to bring it back and to try to re-inventory and just re-bruise and re-injure the produce or whatever is just not cost effective or time effective. So at that point, the volunteers can kind of run through and get extras of whatever is left that is not being taken back. So that is an amazing thing, and I did do a foraging there and got quite a bit of produce, which was my main interest. I mean, there was also meat there and cheese, and I really wanted produce. So I got a lot of produce. So what I'm going to be doing is I'll go through that produce in another video and talk about how I'm going to be processing it. So in addition to talking about my experience volunteering at the food bank, I'm also going to be starting a new food bank playlist, because a lot of times the stuff comes in the produce or stuff comes in the boxes, and I'm not sure people don't know what to do with. We were giving out eggplants today, and a couple of people asked me, because I was the one putting the eggplants in the card, what do I do with this, or how do I cook this, whatever, or you might get a ton of green peppers or something, and sweet potatoes, and maybe you're not 100% sure what to do with those. So I'm going to be talking about some of the produce that I'm bringing home and how I'm going to be processing and saving that. Also some of the canned food, and they give away a lot of beans and lentils and things like that, and sometimes it's not entirely clear how to cook with lentils, or what can I do with lentils, or what can I do with all these beans. I mean, I understand it can be a little, if you're used to eating a certain way, it's a little different. So I'll be talking about that too. So that's the food bank story. It's my new thing. I just love it. It's really, you're outside, you're physically active. I did take a nap when I came home. It was several hours of bending over and pulling things out and putting them in the car and running around, and it was really fun. The people are very nice, and it's something I think I'm going to really enjoy doing. We have, as I said, the food bank is all around the county, so I'm really trying to, over the next few weeks, I want to go to every single volunteer at every single site. I'd like to see what the population is, what the rest of the county is, what's going on everywhere. I think it would just be a great introduction to the place where I've lived for several years but haven't really explored. It'll be very interesting. So far I've done I've done this 3 times and 2 different sites. So, I'll just kind of plan around weather, whatever, to get out there and see what's going on all over the county. So anyway, I highly recommend working for the food bank if you're looking for a really fun, fast-paced, beautiful thing to do for people. I feel extremely fulfilled by it and enjoy it tremendously. So thank you so much for watching.